So now we're going to look at creating the torn paper using masks. And let's just look at the document itself for the moment. What we've got is the torn paper with a mask here, and the mask is hiding these little torn bits here. So if I just turn it off, that's the mask. Okay. Then again, you have each strip as if it was the previous video, but instead of oblong strips, it takes the shape of this part of the cardboard. So if we look at the next one, this one takes the shape of this part of the cardboard. So how's it done? Well, I'm going to just delete all of these. I brought in my images and I'm going to put my base image underneath. So I'm going to mix it up a bit. I'm going to use this one as my base. And then I want the base image to come through the white strips. So if you think about the previous video where I showed you that you have two choices, you can either hide or reveal. In the case of the white strips, I want to hide the white strips. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this section to copy the shape, but I'm not really going to use the actual object, just the shape of it. And then I'm going to come up to perhaps this one, and I'm going to reveal the shape on this layer, or maybe this layer. And I'm going to do the same all the way up. So we've got two things going on here. First of all, I'm going to hide sections of this so that when I switch the underneath image on, the background image, it's going to show through. So also has an effect on it that I don't want. So first of all, I need to use an appropriate tool, and what tool you need to use really depends on the requirements. Here I've got some nice clean edges, so I can use the quick selection tool. And remember, your quick selection tool has add in, so I'm going to take one section and add in a second section, and it's really found those edges very, very well. Now, if I click the mask, okay, if I just simply click the mask, it reveals, okay? So what's happening here is if I switch on the underneath layer and switch on the mask, okay, it hasn't hidden the bit that I want, okay? It's revealing the sections in between, which isn't what I want it to do. So I'm just going to go backwards. So I've made the selections. I want it to hide, not reveal these white sections. What it was doing was hiding everything else and revealing. So in order to do that, I have to hold down Alt while I click the mask. So I've got Alt held down, click the mask. It's hidden the white areas, and in fact it's turned them black, and all of the white areas in the mask are revealed. So that's the only occasion I need to do it that way around in this particular document. All of the others, I'm going to ask it to reveal. So I will only have to click the mask. So I'm going to come down to this first section. I'm going to try and use the quick selection tool. If it overdoes it, you can send it into the minus quick selection tool and see if you can peel it back. I do it in little bits so that if I make a mistake, it's not leapfrogging and there's not a lot to undo. So that's the area that I want to use. Now what I'm going to do is switch on the section I want to put in that area, and then you can just move it into place beforehand. So I'm just going to say that I'm happy with this. And I don't need a hold option this time. I'm just going to use the mask, but I need to make sure it's on the right layer, on the same layer as this orange drawing. So I'm just going to click reveal, and you can see we've got a really nice edge now. So I'm going to go back to the layer with the torn pieces in it, deselect anything that's selected and just start again. So I'm going to come down and do the middle section, and oops, let's just do it that way. Middle section here. It's a little bit too sensitive sometimes, so I'm just going to come back and do this section. Here we go. It's overly sensitive, so I'll come and do as much as I can before it goes crazy. And then I might need to drop into another tool. So I'm going to move into one of my favorites. This is the polygonal lasso tool. A lot of people like magnetic. I don't. But I've got to make sure it's in minus. This is add in and this is minus, so that I'm literally following the description here. And it's all pretty rough. So it doesn't matter where I go over here, because all of this is going to be excluded anyway. So I can come all the way up here, and then I can just double click to join. Switch on the next one. Okay, I'm not sure that's the one I want to put there. Maybe. But maybe, yeah, I'm going to put that one there. And it's just simply highlight the layer, select it, add your mask. Now I'm not happy with where that is. I want one of her eyes to be up here. So I'm going to unlock the image from the mask, and then I'm going to go to the mask, make sure I'm in my move tool, and move the image until I get what I require. The final one is, of course, back to the torn paper layer. I'm just going to grab that section minus this, and then I've placed a mask on this layer with that selection. So you can see the black hides and the white reveals, and the only time I used it the other way around, I had to ask for a key option, so I had to hold the option key. Now all that I need to do is to put some topography on it and finishing touches, and it's ready to be flattened down and sent as a TIFF into the Illustrator document, so you can place it in Illustrator as a TIFF. And don't forget to put it right out to the bleed edges in Illustrator. One final thing you might like to do before you flatten it is we could look at just adding in a little bit of drop shadow.